When it comes to being a heterosexual man, one of the greatest conundrums that we need to unwind is rejection. Now, the reason that rejection is so tricky as a heterosexual man is because our first experience of a woman was our mother. And our mother was a very important piece of the puzzle that was our life and our safety and our love. And in the world today, in the past couple generations, men have predominantly been raised by women. And a lot of the times, it's been single moms on their own. In my own experience, I got to see my father every other weekend as a young adult. And with that often comes the responsibility of disciplinarian actions from mom. Mom gets left with the responsibility of spanking, of, if you're like me, getting soap in your mouth. There's a large variety that then rests on mom's shoulders. Now, if you had an experience like me, what that becomes is a yo-yo between love and retraction of that love. And to a young boy, that is terrifying. So early on, we're already experiencing this thing that is the greatest love of our life, mom, and this dance that is, when I do things right, I get the praise, I get the love. When I do things wrong, that love goes away, and not only does it go away, maybe it even goes to a level of abuse, because that's what it feels like as a young boy. Now, these are important years of our life because our brain is just like a sponge taking in as much data as possible, trying to figure out what this world is. And mom is the first representation of a woman. And as we grow older and have more experiences, let's say, once again, if you're like me, the woman that I fell in love with ended up cheating on me. Now, it doesn't have to be that severe. It could be that you asked a girl to dance and she rejected you. There could be other experiences of rejection. Once again, this is something to be curious about. I've had to sit and think about these things for them to arise and for me to become aware of them. So thinking of any areas when you were young or a teenager, to those fears of rejection. And if you had any of those experiences with mom where she was either the disciplinarian or she was your best love and then she'd take that love away, it's going to have a huge impact on how you relate to intimacy and, yes, absolutely, sexuality. Now, as we get older, whatever rejections we've faced, if we haven't gone into being curious about how that has impacted us and our relationship, how we show up with a woman, you're almost guaranteed that the patterns of your teens are playing out in you as an adult. And there's a few signs that this is true for you or in your life. That is, if you don't go talk to the women that you're attracted to, if you only pursue or move past friendship if she's made it very clear that she's into you. And this can show up in the bedroom as not really being clear on what it is that you desire and not really voicing it. And it can put us in a pickle as men that, that honeymoon phase can wear off where she may be bringing a lot of that energy. And then all of a sudden, we can be in a situation where it's like, where did all the good sex go? And that requires us to be in that masculine position and bring that energy of invitation. Now, this is a very masculine thing to do. Invite, speak our desires, take action towards what we want, invite it, and then not be attached. Just enjoying the actual invitation out in the world. Now, If we've faced rejection early on and we didn't get the skills to maneuver, to process through those experiences, then most likely we've castrated ourselves a little bit. We've let some of our power go. And it can actually be a quite enjoyable process to reclaim this power, to get our balls back. It can be a process of, a lot of it is opening your throat and speaking, practicing speaking. This is why it's so important for us as men to openly talk about sexuality. If we can't openly talk about sexuality in a comfortable way, it's going to be harder for us to speak those desires to our partner, to put those invitations out to the world, whether it's intimate relationship, whether it's business, whether it's some sort of creation. We'll be hesitant. It may even show up as fear of failure. So, as always, the relationship to sexuality is a path to liberation and reclamation of our power. We can start to see, where is it that I don't speak my truth and put out invitation? Where is it that I don't lead in my desire or my attraction, that I wait for a sign or a clue or for her to invite me forward? Where is it that I'm not clear on exactly what I want, how I want it, super detailed? All of these things we get to practice in our intimate relationships. I even practice it by myself sometimes. I'll just wake up and I'll write, this is how I want my day to go. This is how I want it. Putting that invitation out to life and not being attached, seeing what comes my way as a practice that I can do. I don't have to depend on an intimate relationship. And then, of course, it's wonderful to practice an intimate relationship. Whether you're married, in a long-term relationship, or just dating, these are all things that we can bring forward. And my God, do women want this? They want this. They want us to speak our desires clearly, put it out there. And they especially want it to be okay when that's not in alignment for them. And it just goes off our shoulder and we're like, all right, well, I still feel this way. And I hear you. I'm not gonna take it like the boy, the wounded child that's like, Mom doesn't love me. Oh, Mom doesn't love me. What am I gonna do? So, part of reclaiming masculinity is taking care of those wounded inner children, or those parts ourselves, helping them mature, helping them meet their needs. So that's not all on our partners. And we can really stand in that place of holding that strong, penetrative, masculine energy. So as always, what I encourage all of you to do is get curious. What areas of life did you face rejection? It may surprise you the way it shows up. A teacher, obviously your mom. Look at your mom as an important relationship to look at. Your sister, friends that were women when you were young, school dances. Just be curious. Once again, the path is the curiosity. It's not getting to an answer and saying, oh, this is where all my problems come from. It's just like, oh yeah, that happened. I wonder how that has made its way into the way that I interact with intimacy, or I interact with my feminine partner. So bring that curiosity, let it percolate, bubble things to the surface, so that then you can start to become aware of those behaviors in the bedroom, and you can start trying new things. We can start to activate that sexual charge, move it through the body, let that power be present, and start to step into some new habits, some new behaviors, because we're going to need practice at showing up in a different way. Rejection, be curious about it, and ultimately it opens a huge door to reclaiming some of your power.